Good morning. Tuesday morning, November 10. Welcome, everybody. Mike and Joe, first to arrive, at least on my window. Barbara Richardson, welcome to you today. Wendy Chadwick. Wendy, I have a bone to pick with you, and it has to do with your mom. And who I see just popped into the, Jan Akins, welcome to you. It was brought to my attention, lovingly, kindly, yesterday, that I have been butchering Jan's name this entire time. I've been always saying Jan Akins. It's actually pronounced Jan Akins. Wendy, how come you've never said this to me? So, anyway, it's probably because it's not that big a deal. But I like to make it a big deal. So, if you feel bad, Wendy, you should. There it is. I'm sorry. So I'll, I know that there's people's names on here that I'm probably just not saying right, and I apologize. But I like to at least try to pronounce everybody's name. I like to acknowledge everybody that I see, especially early on in the live stream. I always treat it like a little Bible study. People are coming in. First thing you want to do is greet everybody, right? And so Daryl and Suzanne, welcome to you this morning. And let's see, Debbie King, good morning. There were several other names. I apologize. While I'm Jabberjawing, they go by. Carmen Lego, good to see you this morning. So if you say good morning or something like that, then I see your name a little bit longer, or at least twice. There's Deanne Fine. Good morning to you. Despina McClanahan. Sally Crocker, good morning. Letitia Sexton, good morning to you. Welcome, everybody, on this Nivius morning. Dana Creeshaw, good morning to you. My phone this morning said, Mike and Kim Johnson, good morning. My phone said, the weather app on my iPhone, it's up. All these apps update randomly, right? So I guess this weather app updated. They have some new features, and so now there's like these micro forecasts in my iPhone. So my iPhone was telling me that this morning, it actually said in 20 minutes there's a chance of a drizzle. I mean, it's like really accurate, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's going to be rainy. When I'm out here. Yeah, I know. People were complaining yesterday about my mic, and it's plugged in, and I don't know if my mic, is broken. I'm wiggling it around, so maybe that's really loud on your end. I'll unplug it, replug it in. Maybe I need to replace it. They're not easy to replace. I mean, not easy. It means they're expensive. So, but this thing, yeah, you get louder and softer. I listened to the live stream yesterday, and I heard that. So I don't know what's going on. I'm going to check into it. Sorry, everybody, about the sound. I know we've been spoiled with this great microphone, but for whatever reason, it's not doing this job. So I might have to replace it. We'll start a little microphone fund for the live stream. So anyway, I got this weather app, and it says in 20 minutes there's a slight chance of a drizzle. And but I looked out the window, and it's starting to get light, and there's not a cloud in the sky. So where are these little microclimates coming from? So somebody in Jackson area might had a little cloud over their house and got a drizzle this morning. I don't know. So this morning, we are back into Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, and it's one of the most often quoted verses in the Bible. People who don't know anything about the Bible quote this verse. You don't even have to have a faith, because this verse is so universally accepted that because it just is practical. It's like, yeah, it's just true. It's just a truth. You don't have to believe in God or not to know that this verse is true. And I would argue the other way around. It is true because God designed it. It is true because this world is created by God who makes the rules, right? And so it's an argument of faith to me. It's an argument for the existence of God, argument for design, argument that our Creator has organized things that in a certain way to work well, and the verse I'm referring to is what we often call the golden rule, right? Do unto others what you would have them do to you. And Jesus adds in this is Matthew 7, I can't remember the verse now. I guess I could look it up in my Bible. 7, verse 12. Do unto others what you would have them do to you, and in doing this, you sum up the law and the prophets. And it really comes back to the two greatest commandments. When Jesus was asked, what are the greatest commands? He said, first of all, love your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then the second is like it. He says, love your neighbor as yourself. And in these two commands, all the law is summed up. And he's saying it in just a different way, the same thing. You love people like you would love, the practical rule is how you would like to be treated, that's how you treat people. And if you do that, you're going to fulfill all the little micro laws that kind of fall under that giant umbrella of how you treat people, how you love people, how you love your neighbor. And so I think we all know that's true, and we try to practice that. It was one of the things that I've always said, and I see this in ministry, and it was reinforced in my childhood, all up my growing up years, is this tremendous work ethic. So you watch for needs. Like if you're a part of a team, you're in this small work environment, and there's only a handful of people all contributing to the same goal in that work environment. It's easy to see who are the contributors and who are those who are just kind of sucking off the system. And, it was really made aware to me growing up that you never wanted to be the one who was sucking off the system, who was just kind of skating along, letting everybody else do the hard work, and you kind of just ride on the coattails of that. You want to be a contributor. You want to anticipate need. You want to see need and get that need done before anybody asks you to do it. You just open your eyes, you see what happened. You're a contributor. And that's how it works. And oftentimes I would take it to the next level because I was so aware of this concept. I would always choose the hardest need, the least fun aspect of a job. I would, get on that job because I didn't want to be outdone by anybody. I didn't want anybody to ever think that Mark is a lazy person. He's not a hard worker. I always chose the heaviest thing to lift, the most tedious part of a job, so that when people looked at me as it relates to the team, they would say, yeah, I want Mark on my team because he's a hard worker. He sees things need to be done and he does them. And so this command is like, you have to treat life like that entire team. If the whole world is our team and we're always choosing the hard thing, the tedious thing, the thing that nobody else wants to do, we are benefiting everyone around us. People see that. It becomes a testimony of who Jesus is in us. It's taking this command. It's not like, I am only going to do, like your standard, I'm going to only do the things that I want people to do for me. That's not what Jesus is saying. It's just this general rule. If I apply this to my job site, if there's something on the job site, it's like, man, I don't want to do that thing. I wish somebody else would do that thing because it's tedious, it's heavy, it's whatever. If I use that as my standard, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that thing because everybody's probably thinking the same thing. So I'm going to jump in there and do that. And that's how I've always kind of lived my life. Now, obviously I have moments and I'm lazy at times and I don't really want to do it. And will somebody else please lift that heavy thing? I'm tired of, that's true of all of us. We're not 100% on it, but that's the basic rule that I've abided by. And in ministry, when I see this, especially when we it's the law, what I call the law of reciprocity. When you are living your life in this way, you are a giver more than a taker. This is what my dad always said. There are two people in the world. There are givers and there are takers. You need to be a giver. And my dad and my mom always were givers. That's the example was set in our house. They always saw needs in other people's lives, and they tried to contribute to, and often anonymously, to help. And so, being the giver, if you're the giver, at some point in your life, you're going to experience a need. And I always think it's a great, as a pastor, I've seen this for years, I always think it's such a great testimony that the givers, when they have a need, there is no want of people who want to jump back into their life and say, I want to give back to you. And I love seeing this principle in action. And I'll give you an example of this. Steve and Sierra Para, they are givers. They see needs in our congregation, and that's the only qualification, it would seem. Is there a need? And can I do it? Well then, yes, sign me up. I will do it. And the givers always have to kind of rein in, to put up boundaries, right? It's like, well, I just can't give endlessly. I'm going to ruin myself. I've got to pace myself here. So Steve and Sierra are givers, and we were trying to hire a youth pastor, and we were having no luck finding somebody immediately, and so they said, hey, why don't we just do the job for free? And a position we normally pay someone to do, they've jumped in because it was a need, and they saw that they could fulfill that need, and they've done it wonderfully. The youth love Steve and Sierra, and I just see how they invest their hearts in them, and it's great. Steve is on our elder board. Sierra, as you know, we had a live stream need. It was brand new. No one really knew how to do it, and Sierra said, I don't know how to do it either, but I'll research it and I'll figure this thing out. And that's what she's done. And it's not been an easy job. There's been a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges, and she just is there faithfully giving up the things that she would prefer to do. She's excellent at being upfront and giving announcements and doing other things, but singing on the worship team is another great example. She would love to do that more often, but every Sunday she's back there behind the computer doing this, fulfilling this need, a lesser part of the job, the heavier thing to pick up, whatever, because she's a giver, and she's foregoing the things she would prefer to do because there's just a need, and she's meeting that need. And so the reason I'm using them as an example is the givers, sometimes we're going to be in need, and so now Steve gets diagnosed with cancer, and he's going through chemo treatments. He has no energy or low energy. His immune system is down. And so on. And now they're trying to continue to do youth ministry, but they don't have energy to do everything they were doing. As givers, you do a lot of things. So now I got to pull back. What do I do? And people are. But here's the point I'm making. When givers themselves find they're in need, all of a sudden there is no want of people who want to invest. They've given. I want to give in them. I want to invest back into them. This is the golden rule at work. It is in action. And I just want to use them as an example because I think so highly of them and their heart to give. And there's so many examples that I could give in our congregation and the people that I know that are givers. And when their need comes around, everybody wants to jump in there. And I'll just give a little plug for youth ministry. Right now we're looking for people to cook meals. The food is provided. You just got to sign up for a date, kind of on a rotation basis every 7 or 8 weeks, and you cook a meal for the youth. That would be a huge help for youth ministry. And Steve and Sierra are bare bones doing this, and they're battling this tremendous obstacle in their life with Steve having cancer. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, just give them a little plug in this little live stream here. So and I'll just take it one step further in kind of closing. The the most amazing giver that I've ever met in my life happens to be my wife, Martha. And so I will never outgive Martha. So in our family team, I feel like I'm the one who is not lifting the heavy thing or doing the most of the work, whatever. I could just never keep up with Martha. She is such a giver. And so I have to be, one of the things I need to always do and remind myself to do is, and this is why I entitled this, I can't remember, what did I title this one today? Is it practicing kindness or proactive kindness? Because the word that I wrote in my journal this morning was proactive kindness, meaning I have to think ahead about and anticipate what ways I can serve my wife in particular. That's who I was thinking of this morning. Because I have to anticipate, because she'll beat me to the punch. And so I have to create ways in my mind to bless her. And so I was thinking proactive kindness. I have to plan ahead. I don't think of these things naturally. And so I was journaling about different things that I know would bless Martha. But I have to plan it out and think ahead and do these things. And it's just, that was how God provoked me this morning in my own personal life. So I'm a natural giver and doer, but there are people who outgive me that are in my sphere of influence who are really important to me, like my wife Martha, and I have to go kind of the extra mile with her to demonstrate value. When you do kind things for other people, you're saying you are valuable to me, and we contribute in this way to communicate love. Love your neighbor as yourself. Whatever you want someone to do to you, you do. And if we're all doing that, everybody's needs are met. So anyway, that's a thought for today. How are you dreaming up a way to contribute? How are you dreaming up a way to be kind? Because the love of God is displayed in very tangible and mighty ways through our simplest acts of kindness. And just observing needs and being proactive about meeting that need, to display kindness that isn't right in front of your face. Sometimes you have to think about other ways of how to bless people, especially people that you want to communicate value to. And so that's how this verse affected me today. So I'm just passing that along. Hope you guys are blessed today. I will see you again tomorrow.